Hi guys, how's everybody doing? Hope you're remembering to breathe during such interesting times and keep remembering contextually, historically, it's always been a very interesting time on planet Earth, lest we forget. I don't think these times are any more bizarre and challenging. What if you were plopped down onto this planet? Maybe you were 9,500 years ago. Always a very interesting ride. So maybe that will help some of us in our ongoing journey of surviving, living, thriving on a rogue planet. That's not what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about three things. One is a reminder. I'm working on a new book right now, and I just came across this chapter about the perfection principle. Okay, that's Miss Janet Jackson. Love her. I think they're doing a documentary about her. Can't wait. But no, it's not the pleasure principle. Actually, the perfection principle is really not pleasurable. It's really painful, and it's really based on control. And, I think when we think in terms of perfection, it's also based in fear because we're trying to manage sort of what our offering is going to be, and the measuring line is always going to be changing because in a perfectionistic mind, I'm kind of like a recovered perfectionistic, so I feel like I can talk about this. It's like you're always going to be tinkering with whatever it is that you're creating before you send it out into the world. Whether that's, putting up a self-tape or writing your novel or sharing your short film or screenplay or whatever it is that you're writing, pottery, can be any kind of artistic endeavor. It's never going to be good enough to share because in your mind, based on the perfection principle, it hasn't really sort of met that standard of what perfection in your mind looks like. And like I said, that's always going to be, that line is always going to be changing. And that's why people who get stuck in this perfectionistic principle oftentimes hold themselves back from just creating and sharing. And I think we have to remember it's instead of your perfect offering, as Leonard Cohen says, forget your perfect offering. There's cracks and everything. I say that quote all the time. Love Leonard Cohen. We have to just kind of abide with and live in the imperfections and the vulnerability that comes with sharing the thing, even though in our mind it's not complete. Nothing is ever going to be complete anyway. So the sooner we can start forcing ourselves to deliver whatever it is that we need to deliver without thinking that it has to be perfect, the more you're going to get done and the more you're going to be in the game of life. So I want us to keep remembering that. I'm kind of going through these points really fast because I could talk about this for quite a bit, but I want to talk about something else that I think is related. At our Chicago school last month, I was talking about we create for ourselves, and that's not a selfish act. Like when you have an idea, an aha, an inspiration, intuition, you're a channel for something and it's coming forth through you. You want to write it down, you want to create it, you want to express it. First of all, it's for your own I think not only is for your own self-expression, but also for your own discovery of self. I mean, that's the feedback loop we're creating. Our creative expressions are kind of a mirror of where we are, what we're scared of, what makes us feel vulnerable, what we're trying to overcome. That's what art is, right? So when we are in that process of creating for ourselves, we also then, a byproduct is then we create for ourselves, therefore we create for others, community, friends, loved ones, family. We can also then expand that out to culture. So we create for ourselves, thereby we create for culture, but we don't take our cues from culture. And I think this is a very important distinction for people to keep remembering. If you took your cues from culture, you wouldn't create the thing that is very original and specific to your own creative self-expression. Think about it. Oftentimes, it's kind of connected to the perfection principle. When we have this aha about something we want to create, it lights you on fire, it makes you feel invigorated. You're like, yes, I can do this. When we start to move it through this filter, this comparison about what is needed, what people are going to be interested, the sort of commodification, the commercialization of things, it's a zero-sum game because it will probably stop you in your tracks from, again, sharing it. I think when we take our cues from culture, also from a cultural standpoint, we're in trouble because culture is really about replication of things that have already been done. It's also about creating more of something in a commodified world that has commercial value. But that's not what the original intent of creating is about. The original intent of creating is to put your stamp on something that is unique to you. So can we just honor that more? That you have a place in the world, that what you have to say and what you want to give and what you want to contribute is as valuable and worthy as somebody else's who has a $1 billion check mark attached to it. It's valuable and important because it's yours. It's yours, kids. And I think that maybe leads me to the last point really quickly. I talked to an actor yesterday, and it was sort of really struggling, like I think a lot of artists do, with like, when is it time to like throw in the towel? And I was like, I think we can put a pause on where we are. We can re-examine when things aren't maybe unfolding the way that we think that they're supposed to be unfolding. But I think, you know, a lot of times when we don't see a return on investments, we feel like that's a sign from the universe. Like, oh, this must not be for me. And even though I am a big advocate of signs of the universe, I think our wires are sometimes so crossed and we interpret signs from the universe to mean whatever it is that makes meaning for you, which is great. But a lot of times we have an incorrect, I think, assessment about it. I actually think the universe is either benevolent or it's neutral. And so I think either one can lead to your own sort of making the signs work for you in your own interpretation. So I don't think it's always healthy to be like, well, it looks to me like I'm not, you know, this isn't working for me. So the universe is showing me I got to try something else. I don't know. Maybe the universe isn't trying to show you that. Maybe the universe is completely neutral about it, and it's up to you to keep going or to keep finding a deeper reason for doing it, or maybe pivoting, hate that word, but, you know, adjusting to maybe make something work more for you in a different capacity, which doesn't necessarily mean throwing in the towel in terms of your creative expression as you know it, but just maybe supplementing it with something else that might be equally as exciting and fulfilling and creative for you. All right, I feel like I flew through these, but the great news is I'm doing an LA intensive. I'm taking my international intensive and I'm doing it here in LA in October. If you want some info, DM me or email the office, and I'll see you in October. It's coming up next month. Okay. Principle of pleasure. See you guys.